Alrighty guys, so this is Thursday, the last day of our first week. So you can see I picked an kind of like a more circly oval type rock. I wanted to pick a big one so that I can show the turtle shell the best. So what we're gonna do to start off today is I have my turtle book and I wanna open up to the page that showed me the turtle shell so great. So I'm gonna turn to page 8 in my turtle book, page 8. And remember that the different shapes, all of these scales on the turtle shell are called scoots. That's what we're gonna try to paint on the top of our rock today, different scoots. Oh, we have one more friend joining. Hi there, welcome. Hi, what's your name? Okay. So we're starting off today. If you just came in, we're looking at our book on page 8, and we're going to be looking at painting our rock to start. So I want to paint a green sea turtle. So I'm going to start off, if you have your rock painting kits, and I'm going to pick the green color. This is your rock, so you can paint your turtle however you want, but I'm gonna choose green to start off. So I'm gonna open my green. And disconnected. I did put down like a cardboard underneath so I don't get any paint on my table. So just be careful if you have anything to put down underneath, okay? So to start off, my rock is pretty flat on the bottom and it's curvy on the top. So I'm gonna paint the top of my rock, and just the top I'm gonna paint green so that when we do today's math lesson, the green can dry and then we can do more on top of it, okay? So I'm painting just the top of my rock green today. And like I said, if you wanna do other colors, you can do other colors. If they want to put seriously, get up with her. So you can do. I'm not painting all the way down the side because I don't want it to get on the table when I put it down. But totally up to you.
Yeah, just hold on a second.
No worries, Gemma. Take your time, okay? It's okay, Gemma. You can catch up. Don't worry about it, all right? Hi. Who's my new friend that's in the car? I haven't met you before. What's your name?
Yanni.
Hi. Oh, Siani, I dropped your stuff off the other day. Welcome. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so we are starting to paint.
Here we go.
Okay, so I painted the whole top of my rock green, and now I'm just gonna put it off to the side so it can dry. So if while we're doing a little bit of math, you wanna keep working and adding, maybe you wanna add a little yellow or something, that's totally up to you. But all I wanted was a green top to start. And then before I put my brush down, I do wanna clean it off so that it doesn't get all dry with paint, okay? All right. So I'm gonna put it off to the side and then we'll do a little bit of math while it dries. Okay, so let me put, we have Siani joining us. All right, friends, so this week, you know we've been talking for math all about 3D shapes. One of the top 3D shapes, three-dimensional ones that we talked about were rectangular prisms. So a rectangular prism is another name for a box. It's a box like a shoe box, it could be a cube, it can be something that looks like a tissue box. Those are all different rectangular prisms. I'm going to show you a couple examples today, and I want you to tell me if it's a rectangular prism or not. What do you think? Here's the side, the top and bottom. Do you think this is a rectangular prism? Are they all rectangles on the sides? Yeah, it is. So this is a rectangular prism that I made out of snap cubes that has 9. So if I held it this way, it would be a 3 by 3 by 1 rectangular prism. Those are the length, the width, and the height. But I could also turn it this way or this way. So you can hold your rectangular prisms different directions to see. This is a 9 snap cube rectangular prism, but dun dun dun, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 again. So here I have, if I hold it this way, it can be a 1 by 9 by 1 rectangular prism. So I can make, with 9 snap cubes, different types of prisms that are still rectangles, which is pretty neat. But what about this one? Are these all rectangles? Is that a rectangle? Mm-mm. What about this one? This way. A square is a rectangle, so that one works. What about this direction? Does that look like a rectangle? Mm-mm. It's missing this piece here. So this has 9 in it as well. If I take this one off, now I have a cube because it has 4 on each side. There's 6 sides of 4 squares. But if I add this 9th cube to it, that makes it not be a rectangular prism anymore. It can't have that missing, that extra piece on the top because now they're not rectangles. It's still 3D, it still has length, width, and height, and I can hold it in my hand, but it's no longer a rectangular prism. So I have a question for you. If I, instead of 9 cubes, because these are the only 2 ways I can do my 9, if instead of 9 I wanted to use 12, how many different rectangular prisms do you think I could make? With 12, so only 3 more snap cubes, that's all. What would they look like? What shapes has to be on the outside of a rectangular prism? What do all the shapes have to be? Rectangles, okay? So it has to be a rectangle. You can't have a weird, what would this shape be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't be a hexagon. Mm-mm. So what's one way we can get 12? What if I take this guy? This was a very long, it's only 1 tall, and it's only 1 wide. Do you think I could make 12 with this? Make another 12? It's a little bit bigger. 3 more. But here is my 12 long. It's only 1 deep, and it is 1 tall. So this is a 12 snap cube rectangular prism. This could be 1. Is this the only one? Remember, for 9 I could make 2 different ways. You think I could make one like this for 12? Let's see, I have 3, 6, 9. What if I added another 3 on the end? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's try that one. Instead of my 9, I added 1 more row of 3, and now I have another rectangular prism. So this one has 4 across, 3 wide, and it's only 1 tall. Unless I turn it this way, then it's 4 by 1 by 3. So these are all three-dimensional rectangular prisms. All right, so I have my 2 matches. Do you think that's it for 12? Not it. 12's actually a cooler number because it's an even. 9's a little hard. It's an odd number, so you can't always make awesome types of 3D shapes with it. Even flat shapes. It's hard to make an array with 9. But here are my first 2. And what I did was I took my 12 and I cut it in half. What's half of 12? What plus what makes 12? Joyce?
10 plus 2.
10 plus 2 does make 12. I could put this off and put it on top. Does that make a rectangle? No. What could you do if you cut it directly in half? Let's see. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I break it at 6, does that make a rectangle? It does. It makes a perfect one. So I actually made that one in green here. So here, let me put this back together. Now I have 1, 2, 3 different rectangular prisms with 12. Do you think there's any more? Probably one more. Now this next one's even trickier. What I did was you could take either this one or this one and cut it in half again, and then I put them back to back. Here is my last rectangular prism with 12 snap cubes. This time it has 4 on the end, it has 6 on the side, and 6 on the top and bottom. So if I looked at my dimensions here, it's 3 long, 2 wide, and 2 tall. All three-dimensional shapes have 3 measurements. That's why it's 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. That's why they're different than our flat shapes, like our rectangles. If I just had a flat rectangle, it might be 3 by 2, but it wouldn't have any height behind it. So here are all 4 of my 12 snap cube rectangular prisms, which is pretty neat. You can do different ones. I was gonna do it with 24, but that took a lot of snap cubes. So there's different ways we can experiment with this. And next year when you guys are in 3rd grade, you're definitely going to be learning how to make different combinations of numbers, because you're gonna learn all about your multiplication facts next year, which is pretty awesome, okay? All right, how are our rocks going? Are they getting pretty dry?
Yeah.
Okay, we can get our rocks back out. Gonna move my snap cubes so they don't get all wet. All right, so if you were here all week, you probably remember that on page 8, we talked about the different types, or the different parts of our turtle, and what we're putting on our rock today is going to be called the scutes. So the scales on his shell are called scutes. If you look at the picture, up here we got another friend. I think coming in. Yes, Viennese. Hey, welcome. So here on page 8, if you have your turtle book, you can look carefully how around the edge of his shell or her shell, the scutes are a little bit thinner. It's kind of like a border. And then on the inside, those tiles, the scales on his shell, they're different shapes. They're not rectangles, they're not squares, they're any type of polygon you want to think about. So I'm going to use the black to make the outlines. On this turtle shell, it also looks like white, so that's up to you. You can pick whatever color you want. And we're going to draw the turtle scoot outlines, so the scale outlines on our shell, on our rock, okay? Does anyone have questions of how we're gonna paint it? So I'm picking the thin brush so that I can try to keep the lines nice and thin. And I'm just gonna, around the outside, kind of make a border. So here's my rock, just green to start. And I actually might use I'm gonna use the other tip of my paintbrush to see if it's even thinner. So I'm gonna start by just drawing a border line. See how I'm just drawing a border line around the outside? And I'm gonna draw kind of like little borders, almost like a brick pattern around the bottom. And they don't have to be perfect, guys. This is a turtle shell. All turtle shells look a little different. Yes, Viennese, we're painting our shells, our rocks today if you have your rock collection.
Yes, it is. For now.
So you can see I started just with like a little brick on the side, and I'm gonna go around the outside with my little pattern, okay? However you want it to look, like our turtle shells. Some can be bigger scoots, some can be smaller scoots. So I have 3 so far. I'm just going around the outside, making a little border, little pattern, just around the outside edge. Making some of them bigger, some of them smaller. Okay. What's up, Joyce?
It's almost dried.
Oh, good. Okay. Are you adding your black borders around it? It's okay if it's not completely dried yet. Mine's not completely dried. Just doing little rectangles like a border around the outside. I'm so glad that we have so many of you guys in here today. That's awesome. Next week we're gonna do the cheetah lessons. So next week's rock on Thursday we're going to paint like a cheetah. I'm gonna have to practice before that one. I don't know if I'm that good yet.
Or black.
Okay, I'm almost at the edge. So I'm going all the way around the outside.
Do we have to paint the whole rock?
I'm just painting the top of it. I'm leaving the bottom of it empty, but that's up to you. It would be hard because it's all gonna be wet to hold it, so that's why I only did the bottom. So here I have my border around the outside. So remember, if you want to teach somebody about your sea turtles, these scales on the top of his shell, those are called scoots, okay? So we're gonna count them all up at the end to see how many scoots on my shell I do have. Now once I have all that done, now I'm going to draw, and you can look through your turtle book. There's lots of different examples of what the top of the shell looks like. On page 8, that's the type of turtle I'm painting, the green sea turtle.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get
Okay.
a couple more.
Okay. So on page 8, you can see there's like a couple big shapes on there. Those are the types of lines I'm gonna draw. So it looks almost like there's a big one at the front. Kind of like that. And then some bigger ones in the sides. It almost looks like they have like a backbone going down the center, kind of.
Okay, got a cup of water.
Okay. So I'm just painting bigger shapes now on the top to make it look like the scoots of a turtle shell. And it does not have to be perfect, guys. It reminds me of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now. So I painted one at the back. And let's see. I'm very glad you all got these rock kits. I've been worried that we haven't had enough of library, music, and gym. So this was the best way for me to make sure you guys still have some specials throughout the summer. And I'm actually going to leave the inside a little bit open because I'm going to write a message there. So you can see I have my border around the outside. And then I drew some scoots. And right here in the middle, I'm gonna try, it's gonna be really small. Maybe I'll wait till it dries and write it in marker. I'm gonna write "Save the Turtles" here. So I remember everything we learned about our turtles and how we can save them. I don't know, it's gonna be tricky. Let's see if I can fit it. Because we know that our sea turtle friends, they're in danger. There's not a lot left.
Wait, can we color it in?
Yeah. Absolutely. Save. This is not the prettiest handwriting, but that's okay. I think I'm going to put these in my garden outside, next to my tomato plants. So I wrote "save" first. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit "the" because turtles is going to be pretty big. Maybe I'll just write "save turtles." Hi,
Johnny. How are we gonna write the thing inside?
I'm using not the brush part, I'm using the back part of my paintbrush, and I'm just dipping it a little bit in the black to write it like a pencil. So just this part. Then it's a little bit easier. I'm writing save turtles. If you can fit it, you can write save the turtles, but I wrote a little big, so it's hard for me to fit it. And if you have your sea turtle book, you can just write turtles right from there too.
I kind of made a mistake.
The nice thing about paint, you can probably wipe it off if it's still wet and then go right over it. Or you can paint over it if it's dry.
I kind of painted my pants.
It should wash out.
I know.
I have a bunch on my hands too.
Me too.
That's why I wore my tie-dye shirt today, in case I got any messes happening.
Look at my hand.
Mm-hmm. I have just little lines from the lines. So here we go. Save turtles. Save my turtles. So once I'm done with my rock, I'm just gonna put it down to let it dry a little bit. And then you really want to make sure that you get all the paint off your paintbrush, because we're going to use it every Thursday on a different project. How do you spell turtles?
No, how do you spell save?
S-A-V-E. Save. And then these...
I can't fit turtle in it.
Okay. I think you'll get the idea because it looks like a turtle shell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have our Save Turtles rock. When you're done, show me your rocks. I want to see how awesome they look.
I did the squares and I painted it.
Ooh, nice, Gemma. Joyce, that looks awesome. And even, oh pretty, even if you want to do the top like the shell and let it completely dry, you have the whole bottom too that you could paint, and you can write a message on the bottom if you wanted to. That's up to you. Ooh, a purple turtle. Cool. That's pretty neat.
I kind of made a mistake on mine.
That is totally fine. You know that when we looked through, on page 8, it said it's a green sea turtle, but that sea turtle looked brown. So not all sea turtles are green with the right same pattern. That's okay. It can be whatever color you want it to be. So today's journal about our sea turtles is going to be one way you think we can help the sea turtle. So who can remember? We read about it all week long. How can we help? Let's get...
Yesterday I wasn't here, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right, Gemma, go ahead. How can we help save the sea turtles?
Don't leave balloons fly up in the air.
Yeah, you don't want to go to a birthday party and have a whole bunch of balloons and let them fly away, because most often those balloons land in the ocean, and if a sea turtle eats those balloons, they will get very sick. Joyce, what do you think?
That was fun. Don't let the light on inside the city.
Yeah, if you live somewhere where there's a bunch of sea turtles, you do not want to leave your lights on at nighttime, because the sea turtles, they're going to think that that's where the ocean is, and then they might get lost. Yes, Vianney?
And they also can get, the balloon can get stuck.
Right, the balloon can get stuck. And we know if we get like a 6-pack of soda with those plastic rings, we have to cut them open so that they don't get stuck on a sea turtle too. Because I've seen that, and it is very scary and sad for the turtle. Keandra, do you remember any ways that we can help the sea turtles?
Pick up garbage from the beach.
Yeah, pick up any litter. If it's garbage, if it's recycling, we want to pick it all up so that we don't have to worry about a sea turtle eating it, especially like plastic. They might think a plastic bag looks like a jellyfish as it's swimming through the water, so that would be very dangerous. All right, you guys remembered everything about sea turtles this week. That's awesome. So next week's going to be our cheetah week, and I'm super excited about that. in your rock kits, we only need 3 rocks for us. So the rest of the rocks are gonna be for you guys that you can paint if you wanna wait till after, it's up to you. So just make sure you save 3. So we have 1 for Turtle Week, 1 for Cheetah Week, and 1 for Lizard Week. We're not going to get to the bear book, so if you wanna read the bear book, that's up to you. You can share it with your siblings too, that's also awesome. And does anybody have questions before the weekend? So tomorrow's Friday. We don't actually have class tomorrow. We'll be back next Monday again at noon. Anybody have questions? Make sure you close your paint and you hear it snap closed. All the way popped closed. Otherwise it might not be closed and it might dry out. Okay? And put your rock in a very safe place. I know my puppy Daisy, if she smells this rock, she's gonna knock it down and get paint everywhere. So just be careful until it's all the way dry, that it's in a safe place, okay? All right, anybody else have questions? All right, I'm so happy you guys came. We learned all about our rectangular prisms today, and we learned a little bit more about how to save the sea turtles. I put the journal on the Google Classroom, so if you want to check out the Google Classroom, I also have another Diggery-Doo video posted if you want to listen to that sometime today or over the weekend. And otherwise, I'll see you on Monday at noon. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.